10 reasons why Jay-Z sat out the national anthem. Jay-Z only urges his fans to get up and wave, sucking off his song's honor. He's still depressed over Colin Kaepernick blowing off the NFL workout he negotiated on his behalf so he could reveal his true fake news rehabilitation colors. Black Power is sitting on your ass with the flyest girl in the game wearing your chain pre-fake news 13 years ago. He wanted all the social media attention refocused on how it was his idea to put J-Lo's Puerto Rican privileged baby in a play fake cage. Beyonce sat in protest also because Demi Lovato looked and sounded too much like the white privileged version of Alabama Shakes. Can I get a holla for Do It All Dead Nation? I know you miss me. You're welcome. Glad to be back in your lives again. Ha! What did I come across as too mentally ill? Unhinged? Dan Bongino? I don't give a fuck. You've never made anyone electrified by your presence in your life ever. Ha! Jay-Z sat out the national anthem to prove nobody puts Jigga in a corner. A commercial about a cop who went to jail for shooting an innocent victim failed to give his spine an injection of any sustained stiffage in order to stand for the national anthem. Obama told him the lowest black unemployment numbers as a result of Trump's reversing his failed economic policies wasn't enough to make Michelle Obama proud of her country again. Jay-Z sat pissed off because back in the VIP room, Jeff Ross busted his balls saying, "Hey Jay, don't you think child separation could be a good thing? I mean, look how you turned out. Plus, if Coco never got separated from his parents, he never would have become a mini Los Lobos in the making." Jay-Z sat out the national anthem because he's still depressed, knowing opening up for Hillary Hammertime Kanko rallies failed to sell America, and why baby boomer mom, alcoholic deplorable, knows best. It was Beyonce's idea to sit out the national anthem, prompting the Queen of England to shout at the telly, "I thought Meghan Markle was a royal pain in the ass, forsaking her royal duties because I wouldn't support her making money off the royal name, hawking size 13 ballerina slippers worn by Princess Diana, only to be stretched beyond recognition by Michelle Obama on eBay. Joan lives." It's great to be back, people. This is a very exciting episode. I will not ramble, and I'm going to get to my second piece titled, "You Fired, Pelosi." Here we go. Wouldn't it be great if Trump started acting like he fired Nancy Pelosi? Trump takes some questions from CNN before hopping on Air Force One to Mar-a-Lago. What did he think of Nancy Pelosi tearing up your State of the Union address? Trump says, "Didn't I fire her already? She'll be fine, locked away in her wine cellar." Did I say wine cellar? I'm in panic room. Same thing. Another journalist says, "You can't fire Nancy Pelosi, Mr. President. This isn't a reality TV show." Trump clarifies, "Relax. Nancy will find something else to do with her time, like feeding the pigeons in the dock of the bay, forever ripped on overpriced Beaujolais." Mr. President, if Nancy Pelosi is fired, why hasn't the White House made an official announcement yet? Trump says, "Denture breath is constantly ripped. She won't know the difference anyway. I wouldn't keep her orthodontist. Her dentures are looser than Stormy Daniels at 15. Too bad her Cobra insurance won't cover her electric shock treatment because she can't write off her latest Trump derangement syndrome attack as a pre-existing condition before he started to make ball busting great again. Send Nancy my best for Mar-a-Lago. Maybe she gets some voiceover work with Pixar as one of the talking helium balloons and up. As her hope of one-upping me flies away, look, it's a big dumb bird. No, it's the floating House of Representatives about to get crushed by a giant red wave because the old hag can't stop behaving like a spoiled trust fund millennial mouseketeer baby. Denture breath makes Hunter Biden come off as stoic. But Denture breath can use me for a reference if anybody asks what she's accomplished for 3 whole years. But don't tell Nancy to expect a glowing recommendation from your favorite president forever. Ever. Like Trump would ever say that. Because I fired her for gross incompetence, incapable of self-correcting behavior like Omarosa. Remember? Thank you very much! This is a TED Talk that I plan on doing, assuming that they don't discriminate against me because of me being a pro-Trumpian unemployed comedian. And the subject is joy. So the subject of my TED Talk that I'm going to bless you guys with today is titled Joy is Not Bombing at Parenting. Ha! Headline hookers are my forte for those of you just tuning into the Do It All Dad Year podcast as I speak. Here we go. Joy is unplanned fatherhood and getting closer to my kids than I already am. But let's talk about unplanned fatherhood first. 3 direct hits later. I never mastered the art of the pump fake, nor was I aware of what attachment parenting is. It's turning your bed into an open milk bar for the foreseeable future. Gen X parents understand our parents moved to the suburbs from the Bronx, not for better school systems, but just for another room upstairs for the baby to cry it out in, making the moans of despair easier to bear. But God didn't give me 3 kids to have a panic attack over it. Obviously, God never had the same confidence in Pete Davidson, the boy-toy voice of Generation Z. My wife says I've sacrificed. Shaq's like an aspiring comedian in his late 20s, wanted kids ever. No wonder my wife didn't like this speech when she read it last night. Children are family upgrades, though, who kick your career passions into overdrive, leading to me finally getting my TV writing break at VH1 Classic, writing all the heavy metal intro reads for WWE great Chris Jericho. Halfway into the shoot, Chris Jericho tells me his father played professional hockey in Canada. I reply, and that's why you're Chris Jericho, and I'm a knock-knee Jew who couldn't dunk a basketball if my life depended on it. What I've learned from unplanned fatherhood, 3 direct hits later, is why kids love back. Because you make them feel like the most important center of your universe instead of the reverse. Because when you say, I love you, it doesn't sound manufactured horse, like you're forcing the issue to avoid a divorce. Famous humorist Victor Borge said laughter is the shortest distance between 2 people. So my main idea we're teaching dads the importance of being funnier around their kids, and to teach you how controlling our kids with comedy can make our kids great again. My 3 fuss-free kids most of the time are living proof of it. Being funny around your kids is important because it's a difference between being a do-it-all dad and bombing at parenting, which is your kids never wanting to seek your own company again. Do-it-all dads matter because 70% of African Americans, I hate whomever came up with that expression. You could go suck me off a long time. Let's rephrase that. Do-it-all dads matter because 70% of black people in America who end up in jail are a result of fatherless homes. Much better, despite do-it-all grandma's best efforts. Do-it-all dads matter because only 1 out of 3 kids today live with their dads. And you wonder why college campuses today require safe spaces to soothe student nerves with Play-Doh whenever big bad Ben Shapiro is in town. We sent him my books. We'll see if he gets back to me. I'm not holding my breath. I'm not praying. I could see him getting jealous of my laugh out loud funny Jew bun. And that's what I think. He's a very sick man. Let me see if I've completed the entire act. Do-it-all dads matter. The Williams sisters, Tiger Woods, Lonzo Ball, and the late great Kobe Bryant can all attribute a larger portion of their success to super involved do-it-all dads. For the record, I had reached out to Ben Shapiro. I sent him my books, Control Make It's a Comedy, a Love Story, and Do-it-all Dad Does Jokes, and my comedy CD, Resist This. You're welcome! All available for purchase right now, with the hopes of getting on his show, and so I can make fun of Babyface Omar and all the anti-Semites running wild in Congress, and to have a platform where I could actually sell some books and some CDs, and then insist that my wife tell her parents that we're going to be raising all of our kids Jewish after just completing all the Jewish naming ceremonies for all 3. It only took 9 years in the making, but that process is now done. My son Samuel, his name is Isaac. So Isaac in Hebrew means to laugh. When Sarah got knocked up, she was like 100. She's like, you got to be kidding me. And she never had a boy of her own, and she had Isaac. So that's what that means. And as I've stated on multiple occasions here, my kids weren't planned, especially Samuel. So I think someone way deeper than me said, if you want to make God laugh, make plans. I remember after my first two were born, I'm thinking, I got this locked down. And then literally the only weekend away from my other two kids before Samuel was born, first time away in like 8 years, a buddy of mine, Jared, got married in Buffalo, and bada boom, bada bing, slide a mask out of the pump fake, and my wife gets pregnant again. So, and God's like, okay, here's a curveball. That's what you get for getting mean cocky, you New York big-headed Jew. So, how did I go down this road? God, every time I mention Ben Shapiro, I lose all sort of like excitable forward thrust in my life whatsoever. So yeah, so it would be nice if, again, the Ben Shapiro show, just because I can make fun of him for dumping on Trump for acting smarter than Trump and acting all knowing than Trump, and for getting schooled during some like interview in England where he was called an Islamophobe, and Ben Shapiro failed to go after Obama hard. I mean, if I'm accused of Islamophobia on BBC, I go after Obama hard. I say, Obama loves Hitler. He wishes he was that organized. The opportunity to exterminate all of his Jewish critics of his new gifting Iran deal would be a gas. Can I get a holla for an A-plus joke that I took my time with that couldn't have been delivered any better, because I'm off the Adderall forevermore in honor of my son Samuel's incoming birthday, which starts tomorrow. Holla! Am I still committing quizzes mentally unstable because I'm frantic and I'm not a dullard jerk off insane? Hello! So, I don't have anything against like Dan Bongino, Secret Service guy, popular conservative podcast. He's got some jerk off who works for him, and I reached out to him. And Matt Palumbo, I think that's his name, Palumbo. So I'm not gonna say the name is as bad as my daughter's art teacher, Outhouse, but it's not great either. But yeah, so I sent him my comedy, I'm Resist This, and he didn't get back to me, so I got pissed off. And I said, "Hey Matt, what do you think of the material so far? The anticipation is killing me." And then I didn't hear from him, and then I sent a note back on LinkedIn saying, "You're an uptight douche. Got it. Can I get a holla for completely antagonizing people that could help out my writing career and give me a platform that haven't demonized every Trump-supporting comedian in this country? Not that there are very many who are as funny as me. Holla! Not that they actually exist. Holla! That's why I'm still an unemployed comedian without a pot to piss in. Holla!" So, yeah, and so the response was, "Your comedy sucks, and people listening to this will think you're mentally ill." So, and yeah, I read this quote by Dave Chappelle, black supremacist incarnate. By the way, in his last Netflix special, how did he defend Michael Jackson again from his Neverland accusers? So what was his defense of Michael Jackson exactly? What did he say? All the Beatles royalty points in the world couldn't buy Michael love. Can I get a holla for finally nailing that premise? And for my green dealer in Connecticut, my buddy, for encouraging me to do something with that black supremacist concept that's never been uttered before. But here you go. I told you. A+ episode. The best is yet to come. Holla! So, I loved hearing that in Trump's State of the Union. Because I've always liked that expression from Frank. And I recall using in something, maybe I sent to Trump. I'm not accusing Trump of copyright infringement or jockeying ideas. He does a pretty good job roughing on his own. I'm just so sick of everyone. Like every article you read these days, I'm trying to look for contact information for Joe Rogan today. I gotta read this boring article in the Atlantic. Oh well, my problem with Joe is that he sees the value in people like Milo and all these right-wing fanatics. He's the nice guys. Then he makes fun of the vegans. So he's really a fake news good guy, and he's really just a macho guy. He just wants to be friends to everybody. It's enough! This idea that anyone that supports Trump is just completely devoid of any like good humor or heart or charm or inherent goodness is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But like at this point, it's like I had this old friend Perry. I love Perry, and Perry, I'm so sorry we had all these fights. And I haven't reached out to him, but ages ago, like during like 3 years ago, like when Trump started running, and I started getting excited about Trump, and he was making me laugh, and I had already soured on Obama just based on the Iran nuke gifting deal alone, and then the thing is, I remember him saying, I thought it was very poignant. He goes, "Why do you care like so much about like pleasing the other side? The other side, conservatives, Republicans, bunch of hicks on Breitbart that you got to quote fucking Corinthians every time there's some sort of transgender, debate, and they're always, getting their panties in a bunch." And I'm thinking, Leonardo da Vinci made the Sistine Chapel. What have you done with your life that's so extraordinary? Exactly. So I just, like, at this point, and I remember thinking, well, the reason why I care about the other side is because, I don't know, my mom's from down south, from Kentucky, although a lot of people would say that's not, like, deep south, it's more like Midwest South, where, like, finger food is anything that tastes like your cousin's panties. Can I get a holla? For an old school joke. Actually, the first one I ever created when I did open mic comedy, but it was a tad more gross with the opener, which was my mom's from Kentucky, where finger food is anything that tastes like your daughter's panties. Holla! Which is way more gross. See, the cousin, and substituting cousins for, daughter makes a world of difference there, as you can see. So, I cared about the other side because I had this, because I've never like viewed myself as like this elitist, like pretentious douchebag. I mean, this time last year, I couldn't have been more excited for auditioning at the Apollo Theater, which I'm going to do this year. I got my books in order; they're done, and I can't wait. I can't wait to do material at the Apollo Theater because I've always, being a New Yorker, I care about making the black man laugh. It's important to me. They are the greatest, like, entertainers. But I don't even like think about that. It's just, I don't know, it's like a manly thing. They got the best laughs, and yeah, they have been the most oppressed. I mean, like, I don't even care about making, like, my people, the Jews, laugh anymore. I don't give a fuck because they're all hysterical. None of them could write. And on top of that, it's always like, I despise Trump. I despise. I don't like when he opens his mouth. How is that so? Every other thing he says is hilarious and pointed. It's a brilliant salesman. He's able to distill bullshit when he got exonerated. And he's addressing all of his loyal supporters in the White House to encapsulate everything and say it was all bullshit. How do you not love the refreshing honesty of a president that after everything we've endured, America, there was W and 9/11, which wasn't too long ago. Obama, everything he said was full of shit. Supposed to be the most transparent president of all time. Obviously, it wasn't the case. We finally have one, and then all of a sudden, everyone wants to restrict freedom of speech and say, well, he's despicable. Everything he says is too mean. And you have another side demonize a man's entire family, Nazi this, Nazi that, devaluing the word of racist, referring to Antifa as good people. I mean, the world has gone completely ballistic. I mean, you would think that like Donald Trump was like the first loudmouth New York asshole who gave it to people twice as hard whenever they dared to fuck with him. I mean, have we become that sensitive of a culture? The military loves him. The cops love him. He's making our country safer. He's instituted policies to create more economic opportunity. What more do you want from a president? North Korea is no longer doing nuclear stress tests. Iran was shown their role, and we haven't heard a peep out of them since. What more do you want? Well, I know what I want. I want sanctuary cities punished for harboring illegal, violence, rapist, drug dealing dreck that shouldn't be here in the first place. And B, I want Google and Facebook broken up. And C, I want everyone involved in this coup, involving the media, everyone in the deep state, the Brennans, the Comeys, I want them all in jail. Because, again, America, just a little perspective. Russian collusion, okay? Remember that story, right? It was all based on a form of so-called sexual blackmail involving a so-called video of Trump requesting a couple of high-end Russian call girls to pee on each other in his hotel room in St. Petersburg. And this form of so-called sexual blackmail was used as the overriding justification to illegally spy on the Trump campaign, which got him the FISA warrants and everything that followed, which all led back to Obama. So, and John McCain was responsible for pushing this, the dossier, through to the Department of Justice, knowing that President Trump never would have ordered two Russian hookers to pee on each other because he's a notorious germaphobe, which makes no sense at all whatsoever. I mean, his original wife, Ivana, with the sunspot tits, I always perceived as more of a pearl necklace type, right? And also, Donald Trump could order a bunch of Ivanka lookalikes to do the same thing to each other at his hotel in D.C. anytime he likes. Can I get a holla? For nailing the golden shower premise. Long time. Well, forgetting to mention, he could always get Melania. Beautiful Melania. To wear a mink hat from Spies Like Us and talk dirty to the Don in Slovenian whenever he likes. Holla! Oh, but you can't make fun of Melania. You can't sexualize Melania. Oh, don't make fun of Melania. What's so bad about celebrating the fact that she is the most beautiful, succulent, best-looking First Lady since Jackie O? What's so wrong with that? I know she speaks 5 different languages. I know she's not an idiot. I think she looks like 5 million space bucks. Class personified. Yet, I slept to a freaking rally in New Jersey to sell CDs of Resist This. And I mentioned, I do a joke about, hey, this is Donald Trump handing out Halloween candy outside the White House. Hey, kid. You want to know what Melania tastes like? Try some rock candy. Can I get a holla? For encapsulating the big Don's innate hilarity. Holla! Did I sound creepy right there? Guess my heart wasn't really in it. Holla! Well, don't say anything bad about Melania. So, I'm going around and about here, folks, just to make my point that, A, moving forward, this podcast, not going to be about politics anymore. Bye-bye. Nice knowing you. Had a fun time blowing up every friendship known to mankind, finding my wife every 2 seconds, contemplating never seeing my children ever again while touring the freaking country, finding some hack comedian that I could open up for, telling jokes that I thought would find an audience. Meanwhile, I go to a Trump rally. I'm doing jokes about Jeff Ross. I'm in Jersey country. Nobody even knows what I'm talking about. Like this Jeff Ross roasting Jim Acosta. The CNN just shove a microphone in front of anyone with good hair who doesn't look too Tommy Lee alt-rightish. It's a great joke. A-plus joke. And now I gotta think, oh, Millennium Musketeers, they don't know who Tommy Lee is. Why am I wasting my breath? So very frustrating. Now, I'm not gonna say, oh, well, now I've realized that every Trump supporter is some unsophisticated hick that's a mean person. That isn't good. That's beyond redemption. That's despicable. Not saying that. This is what I've learned. Most people don't give a shit about comedy. They don't care about the art form. And I gotta be honest, I don't blame them. When we gotta rely on freaking Ricky Gervais Mr. Atheist to come over here, dump on our so-called stars, and actually tell some laugh-out-loud jokes when there's something else. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the last funniest thing Dice ever said was, hey, Trump stole my act. Okay, it's fine. But then, like, you hear Dice, it's like F-bomb every 2 seconds. Dennis Leary's going to stand up in a gazillion years. And then you got Howard, Weird Week Howard, licking Hillary Hammertime cankles. Taint the, Snatch, her on that show, asking no horrible questions all whatsoever. So, Nick DiPaolo, but he's doing like a podcast. I get like the Bill O'Reilly thing. I mean, that guy should have his own show, not Seth Meyers. Oh, if you're not scared of Trump, then I'm on to my mom as much as Seth Meyers. So, and Jeff Ross got the personality of a dead moth. Geraldo's dead. Patrice O'Neal's dead. Bill Burr is fine. I'm so happy for his success. Literally, 13 years ago, I was doing like a bringer show. It was like a Q&A. There was like a talent scout. Like, what about Bill Burr? And when he went off in that crowd in Philly, I never would have, in a million years, would have been capable of delivering that sort of venom on the spot. My picked upon, pussified teen self would have had not a breakdown, but you never know, but that was amazing. I remember back then, finding I was doing like 300 shows a year. And I'm assuming he's doing that ever since. And he hasn't had 3 kids to look after, so, he's had no excuse. So I'm glad he's achieved what he has. But still, I'm watching a special when he performed in London. And, Michelle Obama's up, okay. I wasn't laughing a long time. I wasn't jealous of the material. I'm thinking, you're not this linguistic genius, or you're not this, like, super talented act-out guy like Russell Brand, so... And he's considered, like, the top of the game. Dave Attell. Hey, how you doing? Crowder, here, yeah. I used to be Jaeger. Okay, I'm done. Yeah. Real brilliant. Colin Quinn. I'm Irish, but I'm smart. I do political stuff. I do one-man shows. Okay. That was nice, Colin. Thanks. Howard thinks I should be bigger, and I'm more of an underrated genius. Okay, whatever. Nice knowing you, Colin. Jim Norton. I bang trannies. And Opie and Anthony are, like, so funny, and, like, they're the best. Okay. Doug Stanhope. Don't trust the government. All of my fans are degenerates. Just do what they gotta do to get by, and that's that. I like Arizona. Not an industry guy. Johnny Depp, we'll do coke, whatever. Who cares? And not just do Adderall. So, no one cares. Gary Goldman, really? No one cares. Nobody cares about stand-up comedy anymore. I got satellite radio now. My mom, her car, she's going to spend, like, more time here during the summer now. So they got a car. It's, like, parked at her freaking, like, we don't have a garage, like, outside of home. It's, like, super frustrating because I want my comedy Go-mobile to be there because I produce nothing but A-plus Gemery on Doing All Dad Does Jokes, Controlling Me Gets a Comedy, a Love Story, and in this podcast. You're welcome again. But we are going to get that comedy Go-mobile, and that's going to be from our upcoming novel, Pitch Woman of the Year. Not blowing my load with the log line, but it's going to be a star vehicle for my daughter. And I'm going to prove to the world that the controlling our kids to comedy can make our kids great again, and that my star-studded daughter is living proof of it. And I'm not saying star-studded like she's suffering from, like, gender dysmorphia or, identifies with RuPaul. Like, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that she's a stud. Yeah, I call her deltoid son for a reason. I play tackle basketball with her, and she's a freaking beast. So, and I've always called her my funnier, sweeter twin. So now we're going to prove it. Because if I had to see one more picture of Judd Apatow's face, I'm going to kill myself. On Breitbart, Breitbart. Like, just one more time. That stupid mug. I can't handle anymore. His unattractive, boring, zero charismatic daughters. I googled that. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, God. So cutting edge. My daughter's avocado filled with dumps that exude more funny girl gravitas than those girls could ever possibly ever conceive. I don't care how much friendship doctor work freaking Judd Apatow added. My chest. It's annoying wife. So that's why I love the Trump rally. People don't care about comedy. And now, I also read this book by like Tommy Davidson, and I'm like, okay, I'll read about it, because I'm getting not serious, but I want to get out there, start performing again. I'm doing open mic later tonight because I want to get my tattoo ready for the Apollo, and do my best possible job. But I mean, I got to hear like people asking about Trump. What do you think? Blah blah blah. And then I found out like Arsenio got like his like panties in a bunch because Keenan Ivory Waynes made fun of him, called him a kiss ass, around Eddie, which he was. But I mean, Arsenio's funny and everything, but like you're not Eddie, and like you had like the best life ever. Now he was actually one of the original stay-at-home dads. He got divorced and decided to like raise a kid at the height of his popularity. So good for Arsenio, and he's aged well. I like Arsenio. Nonetheless, I'm thinking like, these are the people that I care about impressing. I don't. So this all goes back to, I'm done. I read this book by Billy Idol. I had an opportunity to record Lou Reed, and then like Lou Reed had like the goals like, I'm going to charge you for the privilege, and Billy Idol goes, fuck off, mate. And the point being is F your role models, and like that's where I'm at. I am tired of like kissing Adam Carolla's ass in a letter and not getting a response back. It's like, give me a break, bud. Okay? Give me a freaking break. Mr. Phone Call, discussing anal warts with, Susie from Pasadena, okay? I mean, like your independent films were like, okay, all right? But like, let's, call them poor man's Woody, films would be very generous. But, I mean, Kimmel, freaking Jimmy Kimmel. I don't care. I can't think of, like, there's not one host that hosts a so-called late-night comedy show that I care about impressing. The people that I care about impressing was Anthony Bourdain, who I believe was being awakened, and he was taken out for it. Kanye West. I do care about Kanye West. Kid Rock. Let's add Kid Rock to that list. Clint Eastwood. We sent him my bucks. And I care about getting the funny nod from Larry. I don't need it to like feel complete in life, but it'd be nice. But I know he's like a Trump hater too, and he's another, jealous, prick. Inside, because let's face it, folks. I mean, that's why these entertainers are in constant freak-out mode. They don't like not being the biggest name in the universe, and they're forced to feel like ineffectual jerk-offs, really. And, they see Trump at these rallies, and he's beloved, and listen. I get it. Sometimes you're like, okay, I don't really like Trump. Just like riffing the entire time, but he can, knowing that like Ron White lives in Beverly Hills, so he can get away with it. But I did care, and I still care, about President Trump's opinion of my comedy, because I believe that he is one of the like natural comedic greats. I put him up there with Rickles. I put him up there with Rickles. Mel Brooks. So, by the way, I showed my daughter after the Jewish naming ceremony for my children. I showed her a Jackie Mason clip, like Jews versus Gentiles, and her exact response was, "He talks too fast, and he's a total hack daddy." So that made me happy. Felt actually better about myself that day. So I am writing not one, not two, 3 novels in a row. All-star vehicles for my children. And the first one is going to be for Matilda Second Rose Kornbluth. I'm going to write the Great American Jew novel. And I'm going to Pulitzer. And they'll never be able to take that away from me. These are like comedy. You treat the kid at the kids' table. But there's no reason why I can't do a story. It's got plenty of heart, romance, and, beautiful prose. That would make, that would give Gore Vidal a stiffy from down under. Right, Bart? Listeners, because anyone that's ever, sucked a schlong before is condemned to eternal hellish damnation, according to your strict super evolved definition. So that's what I'm doing. My daughter, I freaking interviewed for like a job to like interview business entrepreneurs in like South Carolina. South Carolina, nothing against it. I was super excited about it. Didn't work out. I had a nice talk, but I mean, this like originally it was okay. I'm gonna do stand up so I could write for TV, and so I could become a better writer. And then I went for TV. I'm like, okay, that was fun. Did it for VH1 Classic. I wrote a bunch of videos. They used to like blow off Homer too, like the Cherry Pie video. That was awesome. And then I got hired again, and then like this hick from Cleveland decided to like wing it and do his own material, and it was awful. It was like freaking brutal. So that sucked. And then, what I've really enjoyed is, just doing my own writing. Like I don't, and that's been great about the internet. As far as like the blog and this podcast and having this audience, and I mean, nothing's really all changed that much. Still love the idea of being the voice of the remote work revolution. Okay. I mean, everyone says about like what a fascinating conversationalist Joe Rogan is. Like it takes a genius to shut the fuck up and have Elon Musk smoke a blunt and talk about his inner process, which like cannot have been more blood curdling, like boring. But I mean, I'm really glad that Joe Rogan is all about us improving our workflow and having extra shiny teeth and being badass self-sufficient. Great message. Wholeheartedly agree. Would have liked to see him be a little more hardcore with the censoring, shadow banning jerk-offs on Twitter, but, nobody's perfect. But, in Corolla, it's the same old, ah! So my daughter was saying, Daddy, no South Carolina, be hardcore, staying in New York is hardcore. And of course, I got a city right now where, the bail is no longer a requirement. So we're a sanctuary city. And, so like the logical person, like, okay, I think it's time to flee from New York right now. But, New York City is my first love. I always felt cool in New York City. I always felt alive in New York City. I never felt like a bigger freaking loser than I lived in Queens with my fiance, now wife. We had this great place in Astoria overlooking the city. But, it like taunts you. It taunts like your broke-ass, starless existence from afar. And, for me, you own real estate in Manhattan. Like, I read about Bill Burr today. His house in freaking Los Feliz is sick. And he still has like a place in like Hell's Kitchen that he owns, and to me that's awesome. Like, you're a comedian or a writer, and you just own any real estate in Manhattan. Like, to me that's the coolest. So I definitely still want to make that happen, and I want that happen to the Bucks, and I want a really smoking hot, super talented, high-end Jew-esque agent / editor for my book. That's based in Soho. That's what I care about, if I'm being brutally honest with myself. I slept to Jersey. It's still a dump. I know there are nice, rich places in Jersey, but I'm never uprooting my family there. That's not happening anymore. And, I'm glad that I realized that people as a whole don't give a flying fuck about the art of comedy. I don't really blame them these days. No, when you listen to satellite radio, it's F-bombs every 2 seconds. Everyone sounds like a burnout. Never was. And I have no idea why the crowd's laughing. So I'm thinking, okay, really? Really, Michael? You want to spend all this time in comedy clubs, away from your family, away from creating, to be around this drac that's make you feel like a deteriorating like loser in the process? Not happening. So we're going to become the great best-selling American Jew novelist, and we're going to be as unapologetic about it as humanly possible. Speaking towards in Israel, because I do care about entertaining proud, New York, unapologetic, non-self-hating Jews. I care about entertaining you. If you listen to this show, send me an email. Tell me what material you like. Feel free to stroke my nutsack. I like to connect. Donald Dad here at Outlook.com. I know you exist. I can't be the only one. I pray that I'll be inspired to have a beer with you. I want to introduce you to my perfect children for your entertainment pleasure. But back to joy is not bombing at parenting. Start using comedy on your kids early, even when they can only string 2 words together. My old routine at the deli with my daughter was this: Matilda, what did Tyson Chandler give the Knicks? She'd say, Bupkis, Daddy, Bupkis. The rod didn't work out too well for Michael Jackson, and helicopter parents raised a generation of kids suffering from anxiety who attend pill parties for fun with 13 Reasons on vinyl, who take offense at everything, given the impression they never had a sense of humor to lose in the first place. Controlling your kids' economy is a sweet spot in the middle. Can I get a holler for transitioning beautifully and so seamlessly when I haven't done a freaking podcast in 2 months? You're welcome. I'm stroking myself off a long time tonight. Holla! How did I come up with my concept of controlling my kids' economy? One day, my 4-year-old son was ranting and raving about going to daycare, and I was intent on writing new jokes as usual for my Do It All Dad Year podcast, while looking after his newborn baby brother. I slapped my 4-year-old son Arthur on the bum with mild force. My wind-up was 2 Mississippi Max. Later in the car, the fear of God engulfed my soul. As my son tells me, I'm never talking to you ever again. Now, I was bombing at parenting. Good enough yet, Ted? If I call your attention? That's too scripted? Because for me, bombing at parenting is your kids never seeking out your company again. Is Adam Carolla expressing this on his podcast? I don't think so. But then my Improv 101 training from UCB in Second City kicked into full gear. And I started to have my own bum in the car with a fake news spatula. I said, Art Show. It's my nickname for my son Arthur. I got it. Next time I get angry, I'll whip my own ass. Although I don't use the word ass because kids repeat naughty curse words. So I'll make up funnier, safe space, alternatives like anus hole, that sort of thing. Yeah, not hearing this material by Jim Gaffigan either, okay? Funny in spots. He's still a hick from Indiana. No, they're wonderful people in Indiana. It's just a New York thing. You're not from New York, you're a hick. Doesn't mean that you're not a gazillion times smarter than me, more accomplished, or have more money, or bang more checks. I don't care. You're still a hick. It's like an affectionate term. Unless I'm deriding a comedian that I think that I'm superior to, even though their career would obviously prove the complete opposite. So the more I started whipping my own anus hole while driving my son to pre-K through a menacing fury, my son's tears began to subside, and I won the love of my son back through controlling my kid with comedy, which is why getting more laughs from your kids is serious business, and the difference between winning your kids back and bombing and parenting forever. So there's so much more good stuff here, and I knew that I was being ultra ambitious, thinking that I was just going to jam all this in here. Social justice is dad proving he's got the drive to outshine scary mommy at home, intent on growing closer to his children through comedy, even if it's only for 5 minutes of stage time before he tucks his kids in at night. So Do It All Dad Nation. No wonder my wife hated this speech. So Do It All Dad Nation. Make the most of your stage time with your kids. Bombing at parenting isn't funny when you're the one doing it, which is why getting laughs is serious business, because you make your kids laugh, because the more you make your kids laugh, the closer you'll get. Controlling our kids through comedy can make our kids great again. My 3 fuss-free kids, most of the time, are living proof of it. Do It All Dad Nation. I'll come up with a better expression. It's beginning to sound a little cheesy. I still like it a little bit. I give it a B. But Do It All Dad Pass fans, that doesn't work either. previous engaged podcast listeners, thought leaders on LinkedIn. So, but folks, we'll go folks. Folks, I love every single one of you that has ever downloaded my podcast, that has encouraged me to become my strongest, most colorful, most hilarious, expressive self. Thank you for giving me continued motivation to fight back and to be who I am, to triple down on me, to do the books, to do the comedy CD, and to do my best celebration of my semi-crazy, off-the-cuff, straight-shooting self. I want to thank the Big Don for encouraging that as well. I want to thank God for blessing me with these beautiful children, for constantly giving me these awesome ideas that I have to work out myself. It's not like they just pop out of the freaking sky. But I want to thank him for making my religion and pleasing God and making the most of that relationship a very central driving force like in my life, and for finding the perfect platform for this novel where I write the Great American Jew novel while forming a book club with a bunch of high-end Jewish MILFs in the big city. And so due to my daughter giving me this bright idea in the first place, because it is called Pitch Room of the Year. And basically in the story, I look for a Jewish grandma like MILF with benefits to make my wife jealous. So it's going to be very comical. It's going to be a happy ending. Won't be too slutty, but there's going to be lots of sexualized flirtiness, a lot of unabashed Jewishness, a lot of shtick, and a lot of really heartwarming moments, with me and my children. And don't worry, Gore Vidal, I'm not going to be doing actual recording. He refers to most writers as just all they do is recording their lives. This is all going to be made up. And I can't wait to let the imagination run wild. So next episode, I'm going to be reading to you first of many pieces of what they call flash historical fiction, meaning it's in and out, not that long. And it's going to be about the story about the kid who invented the tradition of the gambling dreidel game called Gimel Be Good. It's fantastic. Wife loved that, actually. She actually compared it, said it was very like loony, it was a little Monty Python-esque, and she's even able to tolerate a couple of the Trump references in there. So definitely a sign that it's my least non-divisive material. And again, so I don't want to be this like black and white guy where I'm like, whoa, I only care about entertaining that half. At the same time, I say F radical empathy. Most people, I don't really care about like meeting you in the middle. And I've realized after seeing a mental health specialist to please my wife, that I do have a problem categorizing certain people in boxes. Saying, well, if you do this, you're that. But I mean, let's be honest, folks. I mean, sometimes, I gotta just go in a message where I'd be like, okay, well, that person's gonna be, a very absolutionist and like one said, extremists basically screw up everything, whether it's radical Islam or Orthodox Jews who spit on, would spit on my wife if she was showing, a little skin in town, if she had some, cleavage to show. But it's just extremists ruin everything, and I don't want to be that. Extremist absolutionist. I mean, I do like the idea of being a better individual, Joaquin Phoenix, and not being such a full-blown committed absolutionist prick. But more importantly, I've done hey, this is Twitter. I'm going to summarize Twitter right now. Look at me, Dad. I'm smart. That's Twitter for you. So I'm off Twitter. Been off Twitter for a while. Don't miss it one bit. And certainly don't miss being shadow banned. But I do miss this show. I miss being able to storytell and converse and tell jokes. But now the jokes you're going to be hearing are going to be in the form of stories and characters. And, we're going to prove to myself, after all, that, maybe I do have a smidget of acting potential outside of me being the loudmouth Jew who could play an Italian New Yorker, wannabe metrosexual like Dice, which isn't really a stretch last time I checked. Love all of you folks for listening and your sustained interest. And I will talk to you guys soon. Gimel Be Good will be next. And right now, Resist This is available on iTunes. And we got Control My Kids, a comedy, a love story, and Do It All Dad Does Jokes on Amazon for your consuming pleasure. The best is yet to come, and I'll talk to you guys soon.